a black single mom, finishing her home care shift on the worst night of a Boston winter, could have walked past the slumped figure on Newbury Street.
Sir? Can you hear me? Are you hurt?
Mi dispiaces. I fell. I cannot walk.
The last bus leaves in 20 minutes, but I can't leave him here.
She hoisted him up, his weight collapsing onto her shoulder.
Please, the Elliott Hotel. 5 blocks. You should not. Your bus.
No bus tonight. I am walking you. Hold on to me.
As they moved, a small silver pendant swung free from his collar, an unfamiliar crest, catching the streetlight.
Some kind of religious medal. He's a long way from home.
Step by step, the black single mom and the old Italian stranger pushed through the blizzard together. The 5 blocks felt like miles as the storm bit into exposed skin. Twice the old man stumbled, and twice Sophia pulled him upright, her own legs trembling with exhaustion.
Per favor, forgive me. I slow you down. Go ahead, please.
We're almost there. Just a few more steps.
The doorman at the Elliott recognized the elderly guest and rushed out, but Enzo waved him back, his eyes fixed on Sophia.
Your name, Senora. You did not tell me.
Sophia Okonkwo. Now let's get you inside.
In the ornate lobby, he grasped her hand and repeated her name twice, as if memorizing a prayer.
Sophia Okonkwo. I will not forget this. You saved my life tonight.
You need rest. Good night, sir.
She pulled free and walked back into the blizzard. Enzo stood at the frosted window, watching until her green parka disappeared into the white. The snow had piled against her front door. She brushed it aside, then climbed 3 flights in a daze, her fingers too frozen to find the key quickly. Inside, the apartment was still. She pulled off her maroon beanie and stood listening, the ceiling light too harsh, the silence too loud.
Mommy. Tori.
Shh, baby. Story tomorrow. Go back to sleep. 7 years old. Still asks for a story every single night. If something happened to me.
In the kitchen, a stack of unopened envelopes. Red ink on every corner. Past due notices from the electric company, the landlord, the medical bills.
Rent is due Friday. The electric shutoff notice gives 3 days. I'm still 200 short.
She sat down, still in her damp coat, and let the weight of the day settle on her shoulders.
That old man. He looked at me like I was the only person in the world. Gratitude doesn't pay the electric bill.
The image of the silver pendant flashed in her mind, an unfamiliar crest, a weight she couldn't name, and then dissolved into fatigue. The knock came on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks after the blizzard. Sophia opened the door a crack, the chain still on. A man in a charcoal suit waited, holding a leather folder.
What is this? I am not buying anything.
Signora Okonkwo, I am Matteo Renzi, accredited to the Holy See. May we speak privately?
He slid a small card through the gap, a Vatican press credential, his photograph, the official seal.
The Vatican. Is this some kind of joke? Did something happen to the old man I helped in the snow?
No, Signora. He is well. I bring a message of gratitude and a request. Please, may I come in?
This doesn't happen to people like me. But he knows about that night. What if it's real?
She unhooked the chain and stepped aside, letting him into the small living room, her pulse thumping. From the leather folder he withdrew a thick cream envelope, sealed with red wax. The crest pressed into the wax was the same one she'd seen swinging from the old man's neck.
This is from him. He asked that you read it before I say anything else.
She slid her finger under the wax seal, cracking the crest in half. The paper inside was thick and handwritten in dark ink. Cara Sophia, you do not know me, but I have been unable to forget your name.
His English was halting on the street, but this is perfectly formed. Who is he really?
I serve the Vatican as a custodian of restitution files. A post so sensitive it does not appear on any roll.
What he means, Signora, is that he was sent to Boston to verify the provenance of artworks stolen in the war. artworks tied to your bloodline.
When I saw your face in the blizzard, I recognized you from the genealogical photographs in my case file.
He knew the whole time? He asked my name twice. He was memorizing the name of the heir he'd been hunting.
The file concerns 4 paintings looted in 1944 from the family of Rosa Levi, your late grandmother.
My grandmother. Mom said she came over with nothing. No one ever mentioned paintings.
Her hands dropped to her lap, the letter trembling. 3 weeks ago, she'd walked a stranger home. Now that stranger was returning a lost century. Matteo opened the leather folder fully and spread a thick manila file across her coffee table.
This is your grandmother, Rosa Levi, taken in Rome, 1938.
Sophia lifted the photocopy. A young woman with a delicate medallion smiled back, her cheekbones a mirror of her own.
That's really her? My whole life, I never saw a picture of her this young.
The custodian's notation from that very night. Heir identified. Subject's face matches photograph. I update the register now.
He was so weak, I thought he'd collapse. But he still found the strength to write that.
He added pages from an Italian parish logbook, a birth record for Rosa Levi, a marriage certificate, the line traced directly to Sophia.
Why me? Why now, after all these years?
The Vatican returns looted art quietly. Your grandmother's case was unresolved until research found you, the sole heir.
Sophia stared at the photograph. For a long moment, the past felt less like a story and more like something she could touch. Matteo left the file and a one-way first-class ticket on the table. Sophia sat alone as evening crept in. Maya padded in from the bedroom, rubbing her eyes, and saw the photo in her mother's hand.
Who is that in the picture, Mommy? Why are you sad?
That's your great-grandma, Rosa. I never met her either. But I am going to find out about her. I have to go to Italy, baby. Just for a few days.
Can I come with you?
Not this time, sweetheart. Miss Janine from next door will stay with you. Remember her?
She dialed her neighbor, arranged the care, and then pulled an old suitcase from the closet.
3 weeks ago, I was choosing between the electric bill and groceries. Now, I am flying to Rome.
The ticket lay on the kitchen table, the Vatican seal on the itinerary. She touched it once before zipping the bag shut. She hugged Maya at the departure gate, the child's stuffed rabbit pressed between them. Then she walked through security and didn't look back.
I've never been in a seat that turns into a bed. This whole thing feels like it's happening to someone else.
The cabin attendant offered champagne and a heated menu. Sophia asked for water and stared out the window, watching the snow-veined earth fall away.
Maya would love these clouds. She'd say they look like cotton candy. 3 days. I'll be back in 3 days.
The plane touched down in Rome under a pale morning sky. Sophia gathered her file folder and walked through the arrival's gate, heart thudding.
Signora Okonkwo, welcome to Italy. I trust your flight was comfortable.
It's Sophia. Just Sophia. Is he really okay?
He led her to a black sedan. They drove past ancient walls, the dome of St. Peter's rising in the distance, and turned into a lane where a heavy door opened onto a courtyard.
This is where empires died and rose, and I am walking in because a stranger in the snow couldn't forget my name.
Matteo guided her through a heavy wooden door and down a silent corridor. At the end, he paused. He has been waiting for you. She stepped into a room that smelled of old paper and beeswax. Enzo sat in a wheelchair beside a draped window, a blanket on his lap, the silver pendant resting on his chest.
He looks so much smaller without the snow, but his eyes are the same.
Sophia Okonkwo. You see, I did not forget your name.
You gave me a heart attack, sending a Vatican official to my door. I thought you were. I don't know what I thought.
I owed you my life that night, but my life is not what I wish to return.
He spoke slowly, his English careful but clear. I am the custodian of restitution. It is a title that appears on no official roll.
That night in Boston, I was carrying the verification file. When I collapsed, I thought I would fail them.
Fail who? My grandmother. You didn't even know me.
I knew your face from the file's photograph. The moment I saw you in the blizzard, I recognized you. I updated the notation that same night.
He gripped the armrest, his voice quaking. I could not speak it then. I was too weak, but I have been waiting to tell you ever since. Enzo lifted a trembling hand toward Matteo, who stepped to a cloth-draped easel in the corner. The fabric fell with a soft rustle. 3 small panel paintings in gilt frames. A saint with a book, a Tuscan landscape, a cherub's face.
These are real. They're older than anything I've ever owned.
Then Matteo drew aside a larger sheet, and the Madonna oil filled the room with its dark gold. The Virgin's face was serene, her hand open.
Rosa Levi watched soldiers carry these from her home in 1944. She never saw them again.
She was a girl, just a girl, and they took everything.
She walked forward as if pulled by a cord, her hand rising to touch the gilded frame.
My God.
This one is by a minor master of the Florentine school. The other 3 are by his student. Together, they are worth $11 million.
The sum hung in the air. But Sophia didn't turn. She stayed with the Madonna, her tears falling onto the dark wood of the frame. Matteo opened a heavy legal binder and set it before her. The pages were stamped with the seal of the Vatican Restitution Commission.
Per the verified provenance, you, Sophia Okonkwo, are the sole legal heir. These 4 artworks are now your property.
He read the independent appraisal aloud. The 3 small panels, $800,000 each. The Madonna oil, $8.6 million.
$11 million. Enough to erase every bill on my table and still have a lifetime left.
Her hands trembled as she accepted the document. The paper crinkled in her grip.
You may keep the paintings, sell them privately, or donate them to an institution. The decision is yours alone.
I need time. Please.
Matteo nodded and stepped back, the binder closing with a soft thump. He quietly offered to arrange a hotel for the night. Sophia didn't look at him. She stared at the Madonna's serene face, the appraisal paper limp in her hand. The room fell silent. The only sound was a distant church bell, and inside her chest, a question that had no easy answer. What would Rosa have wanted her to do? The next morning, at the Vatican's suggestion, she walked through the Uffizi Gallery, past Botticelli's and Caravaggio's, to a quiet room where a woman in dark glasses waited.
Signor Okonkwo? I am Cecilia, curator of Renaissance collections. I've been briefed on your paintings.
They said you might help me understand what they mean. Not their price. Their real meaning.
These works are not just beautiful things. They are witnesses to history. They belong to the story of Italy.
She led Sophia to an empty wall panel, flanked by paintings of the same school. The lighting was soft, the space waiting.
They've already planned where mine would go. It's like they've been waiting for me to come home.
A permanent loan would allow them to hang here, with your family's name on the plaque. Never sold, never hidden.
Alone. Like 99 years? They'd still be mine on paper, but they'd be here for everyone.
That would be a gift to Italy, Signora. And to everyone who needs to see that stolen things can be returned.
Sophia stared at the empty wall, imagining the Madonna's gold in that light. She wasn't ready to decide. But she was no longer thinking of money. She walked out of the Uffizi and through the narrow streets, ending up in a sunlit piazza, where a young mother was lifting her child toward a stone fountain.
Maya would be dancing in that water. Rosa watched men take these paintings. I am the bridge between them now.
The photo of Rosa, the same she'd held 3 weeks ago in Boston, now felt less like a discovery and more like a compass.
The Madonna belongs in a church. In the village where Rosa was born. That's where she prayed before they took everything.
She remembered the parish name from the file. Rosa's baptismal church, still standing in a hilltop village, its altar empty and waiting.
The other 3, they can hang in the Uffizi. 99 years. Maya can bring her own children someday. Not for sale.
She pulled out her phone and dialed Matteo. The decision had been made before she even said the words.
Matteo? It's Sophia. I've made my decision. The Madonna goes to Rosa's church in Sicily. The other 3 go to the Uffizi on a 99-year loan. No one sells anything.
Matteo was silent for a moment. Then his voice came back thick with emotion. Signora, I will draft the papers immediately. The next morning, in the same quiet room, a broad table held 2 sets of documents. Enzo was wheeled to the far end, his eyes never leaving Sophia.
On the left, the 99-year loan to the Uffizi. On the right, the irrevocable donation of the Madonna to the parish of Santa Lucia in Sicily.
Sophia picked up the fountain pen. It felt heavier than any she'd ever held, the nib glinting under the lamp.
Your grandmother would weep with joy. Sophia, you are restoring what was stolen, and you are giving it back.
I hope so, Enzo. I really do.
She signed the first document with a steady hand, the loan agreement, then the second, the donation. Matteo received the signed pages, his own hand shaking as he pressed the Vatican seal onto each one. A clerk gathered the papers. The room exhaled. The paintings were no longer hers. They belonged to the world.
Grazie, signora. Grazie.
Sophia knelt and took his hand. No words were needed. The snow, the walk, the years of silence, all of it had led to this single, quiet surrender. Sophia drove a rented car up a winding road into the hills of Sicily, the sea vanishing behind her. The village of Santa Lucia clung to a hilltop, its cobblestones silent, an old woman pointing toward the piazza.
This is where Rosa heard the morning bells. I am walking her path.
At the church door stood a priest in a worn cassock, his white hair catching the sun, hands outstretched.
Signora Okonkwo, we have prayed for this return. Your grandmother was baptized here.
I still can't believe it. Rosa Levi was a real person here.
He led her inside, past worn pews, to the altar. Above it, a bare wall waited, lit by a single high window.
Here, the Madonna will watch over us as she watched over your grandmother in her darkest hour.
Villagers began to gather in the doorway, arms full of lilies and rosemary, their murmurs filling the stone space. She lifted her hand to the cold stone wall and closed her eyes. For the first time, she was home. By the appointed hour, the small church swelled with villagers. Enzo appeared in the doorway, wheeled by Matteo, his eyes already bright.
I would not miss this for anything. This is the hour my work becomes real.
2 altar servers carried the covered painting up the aisle on a wooden support, the heavy canvas swaying gently with their steps.
Let us pray. Lord, bless this image of your mother, returned after long darkness, to watch over the children of Santa Lucia.
Father Russo pulled the cord. The cloth slid free. The Madonna's gold face caught the candlelight, and a collective gasp rose from the stone walls.
It's finally where it belongs. Rosa, do you see this?
During the homily, the priest spoke of restitution and hope. Enzo bowed his head so deeply that the pendant pressed into his chest, and his shoulders began to shake.
Perdono. Perdono.
Sophia reached across the narrow pew and took his hand, holding it without a word. The Madonna looked down, her expression unchanged, but the air in the ancient church felt lighter, as if a debt had finally been paid. The homily ended. Father Russo unfolded an ancient parchment and turned to the congregation.
It is the privilege of this parish to formally recognize Sophia Okonkwo, descendant of Rosa Levi, as family heir of record.
He beckoned her forward. Sophia rose, legs trembling, and walked past the murmuring villagers. Enzo rose from his wheelchair, unaided. For the first time since the blizzard, he stood tall, pendant catching light. He walked slowly to her, breath audible in the stillness. No one else moved.
It was my father's. His father's before him. Now it is yours.
She opened her palm, the pendant's crest, a key, and a book, glinted in the candlelight. She closed her fingers around it, tears slipping down, and pressed her fist to her chest.
Grazie, Sophia. For the walk. For everything.
The church bell tolled, and outside, Santa Lucia erupted into celebration. The celebration spilled into the piazza, long tables of bread and wine, children dancing. Sophia accepted a plate, smiling, but her eyes kept drifting back to the church.
This is their thanks. But it's not about me. It's about Rosa and a little girl who lost everything.
Late in the afternoon, she drove Enzo to Palermo airport. A soft quiet settled between them, the weight of the day still sinking in.
You gave me a walk in the snow. I gave you your history. Now we are even.
Not even. Grateful. I am grateful I stopped that night.
They embraced, the pendant pressed between them, a small anchor of shared memory. On the plane, she fastened her seatbelt and watched Sicily shrink to a green dot in the blue. She pulled out her phone. On the screen, a photo of the Madonna above the altar, candles burning at her feet.
It's real. It's done. I'm going home.
She touched the pendant. The key and book caught the cabin light, a quiet companion on the long flight west. She walked through the arrival's gate, and before she could scan the crowd, a small body launched into her thighs.
Mommy, you came back. You came back.
I told you I'd be back, sweetheart. I always come back.
Inside the familiar apartment, the morning light caught the dust motes. Sophia knelt and opened her palm.
What's that, Mommy?
This belonged to a very kind old man. He gave it to me, and now it's ours.
It's pretty. It looks like a secret key.
Sophia slipped the chain around her neck. The pendant settled just below her collarbone, a new weight against her skin. Later, curled on the couch, Maya pressed her ear to Sophia's chest, listening to her heartbeat beneath the silver.
The old man was a treasure keeper. I helped him in the snow, so he helped us find our story.
Weeks later, a small story in the Boston Globe caught her eye. Lost paintings returned. Uffizi loan of restituted works marks end of a World War II art saga.
That's us. That's our paintings in that grainy photo. The world knows now.
She didn't call anyone. She put on her coat, left Maya with a sitter, and walked to the sitter and walked to the small brick church on her street. Inside, the sanctuary was empty, the air thick with candle wax and the distant hum of the city.
I haven't been here in years, but today it feels right. Like something I was meant to do.
She slid a coin into the box and lit a candle, the flames small but steady in the glass holder.
For you, Rosa. And for Enzo, thank you for finding me when I didn't even know I was lost.
She touched the pendant, the key and book warm from her skin. Outside, a light snow began to fall, the first of the season, gentle and clean, dusting the sidewalk like a quiet blessing. She had walked a stranger home in a blizzard, and that simple choice pulled a lost century back into the light. Enzo had carried a file and a pendant, and he had been waiting for the moment the air would find her name. The three paintings now hung in the Uffizi, the Madonna above a village altar, and the pendant rested over Sophia's heart. On her next shift, she wore it beneath her scrubs, the weight a quiet reminder that nothing is ever truly lost. The pendant caught the hospital light as she leaned to check a patient, and a quiet smile crossed her face. She never explained where it came from. She didn't need to, because sometimes a walk in the snow is a walk into history, and sometimes it takes a stranger to remind you who you were always meant to be. The pendant's crest, a key and a book, glinted one last time, as if in benediction, and the snow kept falling, gentle and clean on the rooftops of Boston. The snow had not stopped on Newbury Street that night. It had simply caught a story in mid-fall, a single mother, a stranger with a pendant, threads that should never have touched. But kindness is a needle that sews the world back into alignment. Enzo's hidden work, Rosa's stolen paintings, Sophia's quiet choice, all part of a chain no one saw. Now the Madonna watches over the faithful in a Sicilian hilltop. The other 3 hang in the Uffizi, and the pendant, once a keeper's burdensome mark, now rests against a heart that chose to stop, not for reward, not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. Sometimes a walk in the snow is the first step into history, and sometimes the stranger you help carries the key to your own forgotten past. If this story moved you, share it, and never walk past someone who needs your hand.